There was a moment he didn't notice when it happened. No date, no event, no clear turning point, just one small decision that felt completely normal. I'll let someone else do it. It was easier, more convenient. Nothing wrong with it. But then it happened again and again until slowly he stopped doing things he used to do, stopped trying things he used to try. And one day, he realized something that shook him. He didn't feel old because of his age. He felt old because of the way he had been living. Most people believe aging begins with time. A birthday, gray hair, wrinkles, retirement. But after decades working with older adults, I've learned something surprising. Many people do not begin feeling old because of years. They begin feeling old because of withdrawal. Small forms of withdrawal repeated quietly over time. Stepping back from effort, stepping back from challenge, stepping back from participation. The man did not notice this happening at first. It felt reasonable, practical, even responsible. One afternoon, his daughter offered to carry groceries into the house. He smiled and let her do it. Nothing wrong with that. But later, he noticed he had started doing this more often, allowing others to lift things, fix things, handle tasks he once did automatically himself. Again, none of these moments seemed important individually. That's how patterns begin, quietly, one small decision at a time. Over the years, his daily life became narrower, less movement, less initiative, less curiosity. His routines became predictable, safe, comfortable. But something else disappeared too: engagement. And engagement matters deeply during aging, because the brain and body both respond to use. A person who continues moving often maintains capability longer. A person who continues learning often maintains sharper thinking. Longer, a person who continues participating in life often feels emotionally younger too. One morning, the man woke before sunrise. The bedroom remained dark and silent. He lay against the pillow, staring at the ceiling quietly, thinking, reflecting, trying to remember the last time he had felt excited to do something new. Not obligated, not necessary, just interested. The answer did not come quickly. Eventually, he sat at the edge of the bed and opened the curtains. Morning sunlight entered the room slowly, warm, bright, soft against the floorboards. And standing there, he realized something uncomfortable. His world had become smaller long before his body truly needed it to. Not because he was incapable, because he had slowly stopped asking himself to engage. And the body always adapts to repeated behavior. So does identity. What we do repeatedly becomes part of how we see ourselves. The man who realized he felt older because of how he lived began paying closer attention to his habits, not his age, his behavior. He started noticing how often he automatically stepped aside, avoiding effort, avoiding inconvenience, avoiding situations that felt unfamiliar. At first, those choices seemed harmless, but together, they created a lifestyle with very little challenge, very little movement, very little stimulation. One afternoon, he walked slowly through a nearby hardware store, a place he used to enjoy visiting. Years earlier, he loved fixing things around the house, small repairs, projects, building shelves, painting walls. Now, he mostly hired others to do those things. Not because he physically couldn't, but because somewhere along the way, he stopped seeing himself as someone who still could. That realization stayed with him. Later that evening, he sat quietly in the living room, television playing softly in the background. But he wasn't watching. His mind drifted inward, thinking, reflecting, trying to understand when his identity had changed. Because aging is not only physical, it is psychological too. The stories people repeat about themselves matter. I'm too old for that. I can't do that anymore. That's for younger people. Over time, those beliefs shape behavior, and behavior shapes identity. The next morning, he decided to test something simple. Instead of asking for help assembling a small table, he attempted it himself, slowly, carefully. At first, it felt frustrating. His movements were less smooth than before. He had to pause occasionally. But something unexpected happened. He enjoyed it, not because the task was important, but because participation felt good. Capability felt good. That afternoon, he took a longer walk than usual through the neighborhood, sunlight warming the sidewalk. His walking rhythm steady but thoughtful. And for the first time in a long while, he felt connected to himself again. Not younger, but less limited. And that difference mattered deeply. When engagement decreases, identity quietly changes too. People begin seeing themselves differently, less capable, less useful, less involved, and this perception becomes powerful. Because once people believe they are limited, they often stop testing their abilities. This creates a cycle. Less engagement leads to weaker confidence. Weaker confidence leads to less engagement. And over time, that cycle starts feeling permanent, even inevitable. But many forms of aging are influenced by behavior more than people realize. Research consistently shows that physical activity, social connection, learning, and purposeful routines all influence emotional and cognitive health during aging. The brain responds to stimulation. The body responds to movement. And identity responds to action. The man began noticing this clearly. One evening, he sat alone at the kitchen table after dinner, the house quiet around him, the night outside completely dark, and suddenly, he remembered how many things he had stopped doing over the years. Not because of injury, not because of illness, because avoidance had slowly become habit. He stopped driving long distances, stopped exploring new places, stopped trying unfamiliar activities, stopped engaging with life the way he once had. And over time, his world became emotionally smaller. This happens to many older adults, not all at once. Gradually, a shrinking of participation, a shrinking of confidence, a shrinking of identity. But identity is not fixed. That may be one of the most important things to remember. The brain continues adapting throughout life. So does emotional perception, which means patterns can change, but only through action, not thought alone. Action. Changing this pattern does not require dramatic transformation. It begins with small forms of re-engagement, simple actions, simple effort. The man started making small decisions differently, carrying things himself more often, walking to nearby places instead of driving automatically, fixing simple household problems on his own. At first, these actions felt surprisingly emotional because capability creates confidence, and confidence creates momentum. Some mornings, he began taking short walks shortly after waking up, opening the curtains first, letting bright morning sunlight fill the room. then stepping outside before the day fully began. The fresh air helped clear his mind. Movement helped his body feel more awake. Even his thinking felt sharper after walking regularly. And this connection is important. Physical activity influences emotional health strongly during aging. Movement improves circulation, supports balance, reduces stiffness, and often improves mood and mental clarity too. The body and mind are deeply connected. Other days, he challenged himself in small ways, trying new recipes, learning basic technology he once avoided, starting conversations instead of waiting passively. These actions may sound small, but psychologically, they send a powerful message. I am still capable. I am still participating. I am still growing. And repetition matters because identity forms through repeated experiences. Each small action reinforced something new inside him, not perfection, possibility, and slowly, his relationship with aging began changing. He no longer saw aging as disappearance. He began seeing it as adaptation, something influenced by behavior, not only time. The idea that becoming old happens suddenly is rarely true. More often, it happens through patterns, small repeated choices, less movement, less challenge, less engagement, less participation in life. And over time, those patterns begin shaping identity itself. The man eventually understood something deeply important. He did not feel old simply because of age. He felt old because his life had become too small, too passive, too disconnected from effort and engagement. And once he began changing those patterns, something inside him changed too. Not dramatically, but steadily. His mornings felt more purposeful. His walking felt more confident. His thinking felt more alive. Even his posture changed slightly. Because emotional identity affects physical behavior too. One evening, he stood quietly near the bedroom window, the sky outside slowly darkening into night. And instead of feeling sadness about aging, he felt awareness. Awareness that capability is not only preserved through medicine, it is preserved through participation, through movement, through curiosity, through continuing to engage with life. And after many years, caring for older adults, I believe this may be one of the most important truths about healthy aging. The way people live shapes the way they experience getting older. Because in the end, the moment someone starts feeling younger again is often the moment they stop withdrawing from life and begin participating in it once more.